and I'll never back down. In the middle of the ring is where I lay the smack down. Against all odds, I will always prevail. The way you step to me is like hell in a cell.
Greetings and salutations, this is Christopher Daniels. I'm talking to my main man Delzinski right now. Any video game show, any video game channel, any YouTube channel called Vintage Shizzle is indeed hashtag Daniels approved.
Yo, alright guys, Delzinski here. It's another We Talk weekend. And as per usual, I am joined by my partner in crime. How you doing, Smack Talks?
I'm doing well, man. How's you?
I'm very good, thank you very much. I'm very good indeed. And we are going to be talking Money in the Bank today. So, you know, have you got your briefcase ready?
I have. It's all ready.
What you got inside it?
I don't know. It's a bit of a mystery.
I'll put you right on the spot straight
What's
away.
inside yours?
Soddle.
I'm sure that's what's in every briefcase in WWE.
Well, I'm hoping that we may get a few surprises at Money in the Bank because it could be a very predictable pay-per-view otherwise. So it's going to be interesting and we're going to talk about that. We're going to give you our previews and predictions as well. So get involved via the comment section below and let us know what you think is going to go down at Money in the Bank 2015. And this really should be one of the most exciting pay-per-views on the WWE card on the basis that Money in the Bank is one of those best matches, the match that I used to love watching, and I still preferred it when we used to have it at like WrestleMania or something like that, but you know, it's in its own pay-per-view, so what are you going to do? What you going to do? Yeah.
It should still be a great match though. I mean, it's one that we always look forward to in terms of the pay-per-views come around, so I think this year it'll be no exception.
We've got some good actual stars in there as well, and it's pretty huge. I mean, just looking at it, we'll cover it in detail, but you know, you've got Ziggler, Neville, Reigns, Orton, Kingston, Sheamus, and Kane.
Yeah, Kane.
So yeah, how did he get in there?
It's a good question, isn't it? I just hope he doesn't win it.
Oh, and then he's going to cash in on Seth.
Could you imagine it? We've seen this building for so long. It's like, please don't do it. Please don't do it.
Oh, man. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about this in some detail in the show later on. But first, there's a couple of bits of news that I want to cover with you, Paul, today. Because, obviously, we've got all the goings-on of Money in the Bank with John Cena and Kevin Owens. And something that's kind of been lost a little bit is Samoa Joe. Because on NXT, Joe made his debut match, a televised debut match, and he, you know, was victorious. Kevin Owens was at ringside watching the match. But do you not feel that with all the stuff going on with John Cena, this feud has kind of been lost a little bit, and that we could have had, a much bigger feel to this matchup? It still feels big, don't get me wrong, but because Kevin Owens is almost here, there, and everywhere now, it's Joe's, not getting. I don't feel there's that intensity that there could be between these two because the bigger deal is John Cena. So, what do you think with the whole Samoa Joe and the timing of him coming in and obviously Owens stepping up?
I think it's a bit awkward in terms of the timing because it's something that these two, it should be where the focus is. Like, it's in terms of indie wrestling, it's like a big deal. But because you've actually got the Cena stuff going on as well, that's kind of overshadowing it. And not just for the sort of hardcore fans, like the indie fans and things as well. We're all really looking forward to seeing how that goes because we've got our guy in Kevin Owens going up against the main guy in John Cena. So we all want to see how that turns out. But then we've got Samoa Joe at the same time. And it's kind of just getting overlooked because the focus is really not on that at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, next week, I think it was announced by William Regal that it's going to be Owens versus Joe. Not for the NXT title, in a non-title match, just basically Joe getting his hands on Owens. But, like you say, this is all very close to the John Cena match, which everybody's got eyes on because it was so good the first time round. And I just kind of wanted this to be the big deal because I was really looking forward to it when Joe arrived. And I'm still looking forward to it, don't get me wrong. But if maybe they'd space these out a little bit better, maybe after the John Cena stepping up? Because obviously Owens has still got the belt, but I've got a feeling that he's going to drop that belt soon. I think he's going to lose it to Finn Balor in, is it Japan they're going to?
Yeah, it is. I can totally see that happening.
Because that's the big deal. That's the big sell. Is I don't know if you've seen on WWE's YouTube channel, but they've got a little promotional package there of Finn Balor teasing the Demon, and we all know that I think it's in Tokyo that they're going to absolutely love that when he does come out as the Demon once again. So it's almost like going to be the icing on the cake for Finn to go over there, Prince Devitt, and then win the gold. So I feel that's going to happen. Where that leaves Joe again, I don't know, because that's kind of taken away again from Samoa Joe.
Well, that is the case. Like, I'm sure, like, this whole Japan show, it's been built around people that's like big over there. So we've got Finn Balor, we've got Hideo Itami, even though he's injured, he's going to be making an appearance, and then we've got Brock Lesnar as well. So it's all done to sort of please the Japanese fans and get them sort of interested, and hopefully get them subscribed to the network at the same time. So it's going to be interesting to see where it goes, but I could definitely see Balor actually winning the title at that event.
Is Lesnar still facing Kingston?
Well, that's something I mentioned yesterday, but surely that hasn't actually been announced. That's got to be just someone's random joke on Twitter.
Because is Kingston really a big draw in Tokyo, in Japan?
Well, it's a new day, so maybe it is. Do you think Lesnar will take on all three?
That would be better, I think, if they were going to do anything, have him come over there and take out all three. That would work, but not Kofi versus Lesnar. I don't know.
Yeah, it just doesn't have that star potential, does it? Kofi versus Lesnar.
Yeah, so I don't know. What is he going to? What on earth could Kofi Kingston do to enhance that match? I know, he's obviously going to be one of the primetime spot players in the Money in the Bank ladder match, but.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You say, what could Kofi do? I don't think anyone knows at this point. Like, Kofi can pull off, like, absolutely anything, so it wouldn't put it past us if he actually, like, done something amazing. But I can't see that match happening. Surely that's just a joke.
We'll see. So, yeah, I mean, I want to get everybody's views on this with Joe, because Joe is a big deal, and they are building him like a big deal. The commentary team really, hyping Samoa Joe. I thought the interaction between Joe and Owens was awesome on NXT this week. The whole fact that Kevin Owens referring to Samoa Joe as a rookie, and that as a veteran he would never give him a title shot straight away. That was like the line of the night. And then getting it stuck to him by William Regal coming out and saying, well, actually you're going to face him but not for the belt. So I think they're building a nice storyline there. I just hope that they have planned out both together, so it doesn't happen that Kevin Owens, and his John Cena feud goes on, and then they forget about Samoa Joe. Because I've got a feeling then Joe's probably going to have to pick up a feud with someone like Balor, unless, I don't know, some other sort of heel comes out the woodwork to face him. I'm not sure who that could be. And just on a side note, did you see the spear that Rhino did to Finn Balor at NXT, I think, like 2 weeks ago?
Was that the one on the top of the stage where he come out of nowhere?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you took him out, didn't you?
It was freaking amazing. I was like, where'd he come from?
I totally wasn't expecting it. I didn't even realise, like, Rhino had gone, like, from the actual, like, ringside. So when he just, like, speared him out of nowhere, I had no idea what was going on. Like, really cool moment.
Sure, we're going to be corrected, because it wasn't a spear. It was a gore.
It was a gore.
Gore. So I'd make sure we get that in there as well. But it was just brilliant. It was epic. I really like Rhino in NXT. It's just like, he's nuts. He's
been good. He's sort of reinventing himself. And like after the loss to Corbin, I thought he might go away at that point. Like I thought that might have been his run done. But it was surprising to see him actually still with it. And I think like he's got a lot to offer in terms of like putting over these younger guys.
I like the way he just rocks up in people's promos as well, like and just like smiles at them, like he wants to fight, he wants a challenge. It's great. So yeah, I mean NXT's still going well, going strong, and that's awesome, and that's what's best for business. So get involved and let us know what you think of the Joe and Owens feud. Is it being overshadowed by Super Cena? Isn't everything?
It always is. That's always the case.
But
I was surprised.
No. To be honest, no, you can never be surprised because John Cena always kicks out at 2.
And he's always the main event, even if he's not in the main event.
Well, we'll talk about John a little bit later when we get to our preview and predictions. The other news coming up, well, this week, which I picked up on, Paul, I kept him in the loop with it a little bit. He has seen a few bits, so we're going to get his view on this as well, is CM Punk, Hulk Hogan. WrestleMania 32?
Surely not. Punk's done with this. He's a UFC fighter now. Maybe get Hogan in the octagon.
Are you sure he's a UFC fighter? Because he hasn't had a match yet.
Well, that is like what I've heard, but maybe we'll find out soon.
Think he'd rather be a hockey player? Maybe.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
I mean, what this is all about is the fact that CM Punk and Hulk Hogan have been a little bit at wars over social media, on Twitter, with the basis that I think, to sum it up, Hulk Hogan made a remark about CM Punk's hockey team. I think he got the coach's name wrong, and he said a few little jabs towards Punk, which Punk obviously didn't take well, which, as you know, CM Punk does. He doesn't really take any sort of criticism well. But I'll just kind of cover what Hogan said. So Hogan made a few mistakes on a televised show talking about the Black Hawks, which is CM Punk's hockey team. And then Punk fired back, saying that he didn't know, well, you know, Hogan just doesn't have a clue about hockey and should kind of keep quiet. And Hogan said, like I said, this is the actual tweet, like I said, the Black Hawks are in a whole lot of trouble. They should take their puck, and then he put, you know, inverted comments, Punk, and go home. CM can show them the way, brother. So it is a jab, yeah?
It is, yeah. It's nothing too serious. It's just a bit of fun. I don't know why he reacts the way he does. Like, you've got his reaction there. I was surprised when I actually heard it.
Well, this is the trouble, because the reaction for me is a bit OTT. Because the reaction was, you mispronounced the team captain's name, which, yeah, okay, and didn't even know the coach's name. You're a hack. Shut the fuck up, or I'll wreck you. At Hulk Hogan. So
I can't believe you used the term wreck you. It's ridiculous.
It just goes back to the age-old, the attitude issue with Punk. And I said I had a little bit of a back and forth on Twitter with a few other fellow Twitter tweeters. But, you know, I feel that, you know, Hogan, yes, Hogan does kiss ass quite a bit, and he does say things that kind of are wrong, but he does it anyway. I mean, he's retweeted things in the past where he's been completely way off base. But do we not, as wrestlers, not me, I'm not really a wrestler. I don't think I'm really built for that. But
either man.
But do we not think, as stars like Punk, who was in the wrestling industry, moved to UFC, and fellow wrestlers that are out there, do we not think that they should show a degree of respect for someone like Hogan, who paved the way? And Hogan obviously did a lot for the business, and he still does do a lot for the business. If it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, do you really think stars and superstars like Punk would be around today to be on the level and the platform that they are?
Well, that's the thing. Like, surely he should be respecting the people that's paved the way for him, and coming out with things that he does. It's no surprise, really, I guess. Like, we're sitting here talking about it, but there's so much been said in the past about CM Punk and the way that he doesn't, well, I was going to say the way that he interacts with people, but it's more case of the way that he doesn't interact with people and the fact that he is more of a loner. So it's just the way that he goes on. And I don't know, it's hard to understand, really, why he is like that. You would expect that he's someone that would respect the people that's gone before him, respect his elders, and just take on their opinion things. And when it comes to just like a little joke like that, surely being a wrestler and being in the backstage area, you'll get people ribbing you all the time. So it's something that you should be used to. I guess, like, just he can take anything when it goes to wrestling, but don't diss his beloved Nighthawks.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Paul, as well. The thing is you're a massive Punk fan, weren't you, throughout his period in WWE?
I was, but ever since, like, this whole change in attitude, but it's just like he's just become a bit of a dick.
You said it. I mean, I get quite a lot of people on Twitter just go, "Oh, well, you're not a Punk fan, so you just diss him at every step of the way." And I've done Wee Talks with Weeds as well about Punk, talking about when he left the company, and I saw the balance. I saw both sides of it, but I've always seen the underlying thing is that he's not very good when it came to criticism, and he's always been controversial. Like back in his days of Ring of Honor, on the indie scenes as well, he would piss off fans, he would be rude to fans, and he did do it in WWE, but he toned it down, and now he's back to that disrespectful self. And that's all it is for me with him. Is the issue is that it's the respect side that doesn't come through. He's a hell of a wrestler, or he was a hell of a wrestler, and I'll always respect what he did in the ring. And he's a great talker. I watched his Colt Cabana where Colt makes other people do his promos for him, and Punk was hilarious on it. But coming back to what the issue is it's just that lack of respect. I saw the other day a tweet again, a fan tweeting him saying, he's a Black Hawks fan and that he supports, CM Punk, and I think Vince Vaughn is one as well. I don't know a huge amount about hockey, to be honest. Maybe I'm like Hogan, but and he tweeted him that, and he said something like they are they're my favorite people, and Punk, instead of just taking it as someone being nice and being a fan to him from the wrestling days, and someone being happy to just say to Punk, I'm a big fan of yours. He took it on board that he decided to just correct the guy's grammar. And it was like, that's just being a bit of a dick.
It is, and you've said it this time.
Well, whatever.
So I think we're in agreement at that point.
I know, that's the trouble. We just it's not like I'm a Punk hater, because I'm completely not. It's just, you just have to have a little bit of respect when it comes to your peers and particularly your fan base. If you just go on and trash your fan base, what's the point of that? And it's an interesting topic, to be honest, and I want to put it to the Wee Talkers really to see what they think of the stuff with Hogan. Go and have a look at the tweets that have gone back and forth. And yes, Hogan definitely should maybe do a bit of research on stuff before he comments on things. That's for sure. But did it warrant such a bit of a tirade from CM Punk? I don't really think so. And just maybe to end this, when is he going to fight in UFC?
That is the big question. Surely it can't be too long away now. Did it say the end of the year, or was it the beginning of 2016?
I'm not sure, but I'd like him to do that, because I'd like him to hurry up and get in the ring. So, or the octagon. Sorry,
Octagon.
I want to see him get in the octagon, and I want to see if he can go toe to toe with the UFC guys. And it's not to see him fail. It's not to see if I just want to see it. I'm interested, and it's been a long time, and we've all waited for this. And I'm not your biggest UFC expert. I don't know a huge amount about it, but because Punk is doing it, it's a draw. Obviously, most wrestling fans will want to see him in the octagon, and whether he can do what the likes of Brock Lesnar does and dominate UFC. I'm interested to see it. When's it going to happen?
Well, that's the thing. I'm interested to see it as well. And I've got a friend that's big on UFC, and he tried to get us into UFC so many times. I ended up buying the game and things just to try and get into it, but it just wasn't really for me. But because now Punk is going in, I've got that kind of interest just to see how it goes. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of people in that position where they'll watch it for the first time just to see how he gets on. But I think the question I want to put to you is the way that Punk's acting on Twitter and the stuff with Hogan, is it Punk just trying to stay relevant and get some attention?
I'm not sure. I think he takes massive offence to anybody that disrespects stuff from hockey. He's like a hockey head. He's obsessed with his hockey team, which is perfectly fine. It's like me and a football team. And I'm not going to tell you guys my football team because you'd end up trying to give me stick anyway. So, you probably already know anyway. If you go and check my other Twitter account, you'll find out. But, we all take things personally if we support a product or something. So I can see that he takes offence to those things easily. Shooting off to Hogan, I don't know if that's to try and stay relevant. I just think, again, it's him being him. And
I think he just knows it'll get coverage, and any kind of coverage that keeps him in the spotlight.
Any publicity, innit? It's
yeah,
good publicity.
that's only what I can assume from it.
But the other way to look at it as well is why does he need to do that? He's got his comic book stuff, and he's obviously focusing heavily on training for UFC. Why can't he just focus on it and then get on with it and have his match?
You would think so, but I don't know. It's just the way he acts. I think if he was to just focus on the UFC, stay quiet, like when he left the WWE, that was all he did. So if he does that again, just stays quiet until he gets the UFC stuff where he's actually got a date, and then he comes out, has his fight, and then fair enough, he can say what he wants after that. But for the time being, just don't take everything to heart. Just take it as a jab, if a little joke, if that's all it is. You don't have to go over the top with one little thing.
Reminds me a little bit of, and it just going on a different tangent. Reminds me a little bit of like someone like David Haye in the boxing industry, because David Haye was like a cruiserweight who was like absolutely dominant in the cruiserweight division. Moved up to heavyweight, and as we all know, he won the world titles. He beat like Valuev and people like that. Anyone that follows boxing, and then he faced like the Klitschko's, and then he just like the way he went around facing a Klitschko, and it was like he became a bit of a bitch. He was like being on social media, like trying to diss them and be disrespectful to them, and then he lost. And then it was like he blamed his toe, and then he kept whinging about it, and like a lot of people really then grew to like I'm still a massive David Haye fan. I've been to his fights and seen him knock people out, but a lot of people then got to that stage where they don't really support David Haye because they think, oh, you're just a moany old bitch, and you shouldn't be like that. And he lost a lot of respect of what he had done, being a world champion. People don't even take that on board now. It's like, oh, he's just injury prone and this, that, and the other. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of that is the whole over the topness with the social media side, and that's when it damages you as a person because people then get that view of you.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's just that negative attitude. I think what he really needs to do is just have a conversation with a New Day and embrace the power of positivity. And maybe it'll change him and we'll get Punk for the better.
I definitely think that he needs to speak to the New Day because they will provide, that positivity that he needs. New Day, New Day rocks.
New Day rocks.
Exactly. So I think that kind of brings us to a close of the Punk debate. We haven't had a Punk debate in quite some time here on We Talk. It always sparks a lot of conversation. So guys, get involved and let us know what you think of Punk and Hogan. WrestleMania 32, brother. I can't see it happening, but it would be interesting if it did.
It'd be interesting. Can't see it happening, though.
Can't see Hogan taking a GTS. He's never going to do that.
Nah, Hogan's not going to job.
Hogan never jobs. Wait, well, rarely jobs.
Really? I can't see it happening. Nah, I can't see Punk getting any sort of return to WWE anyway, so it's not on the cards.
Yeah, I think he's burnt his bridges, so going to be interesting. So, let's move on and let's talk about the Money in the Bank. Money. I really do like this pay-per-view. It's something I really look forward to. Purely on the basis the Money in the Bank ladder match is always a good watch. But it is a good card. It's quite a strong card. There's a few matches in there where I'm a bit like, But overall, it's a good card. So what's your opinions of the build towards Money in the Bank? Has it been solid, or is there any sort of areas where you think they could have done better?
What build was that?
Oh, sorry. Did you not see the build?
Well, has there been much of a build? It's only been like 2 weeks since Elimination Chamber.
Well, Dean Ambrose has been running around with the belt for quite some time.
That's the thing, though. There's some build, but it's only for like 1 or 2 matches. The rest just kind of thrown together again. But after Elimination Chamber, where it was the same case, it turned out to be like pretty good for some of the matches. So hopefully it's the same thing. But the build itself, I don't know, the Ambrose stuff, it's kind of, I don't know, the whole lunatic fringe thing and what's he going to do this week? I don't know, it's wearing a bit thin on us.
Well, they tried this before, though, didn't they? They tried it to try and put him as a real lunatic originally, and they did that stuff with the doll. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And it didn't go down that well then. I like the fact that he keeps taking the belt. I don't really like that he keeps like giving him the belt and then taking it off him. Why doesn't he just keep the belt and tease him from having the belt? That's the bit for me where it's like he gave him the belt back only then to like take the belt off him. I don't think that's really necessary. I'd rather him do a bit of a thing with the fans and be in the crowd, like, you know, holding up the belt from the crowd, and then like J&J security getting the roll up and screwing him over. Something like that, as opposed to, I'll give you the belt and then I'll come back in and take it off you, you know?
Yeah, totally. One thing I'll point out though in that match, there was like a ton of roll-ups.
Yeah.
So finishing on a roll-up as well, it was like, well, what was different?
It's just, well, that's the other thing as well. Are they teasing? Because obviously we're talking about the main event quite a bit here, but are they teasing that Rollins is going to then like completely be against the Authority? Because I've heard word, the bird is the word. I've heard word that there's apparently this whole use of the pedigree is going to come back to backfire on him because Triple H is going to take offence that he's using the pedigree and he's being against the Authority.
It could do. I mean, we're seeing when Kevin Owens come up that the Authority had sort of give him that opportunity. So maybe it could be a case where when Owens is done with Cena, then Owens is the new guy.
I'd like that.
I would prefer that.
But I don't know whether I want Seth Rollins to become like a face. He's too good a heel.
I don't know. I like him as a heel, but I think he'll work as a face as well. The problem is, like, Owens could end up being a face. Like, everyone's, like, so behind him at the same time, even though he's a heel.
Well, yeah, well, it's just that whole thing where it's like the Lesnar effect, really, to be honest, because the Lesnar effect is if you're just you and you play you and you're not, you know, a WWE-ified character, then the fans back you, and that's what happens. Seth Rollins is, in a way, he's kind of similar to that. Like, people boo him, but it's pantomime booing. It's not that they dislike him. With Cena, there is quite a lot of booing because just don't really appreciate him as much as we should.
His character, at least.
Yeah, his character, of course. I get what you're saying about the build. There hasn't been much, and I think a very good example of that is the Money in the Bank match itself, where all of a sudden, bang, there's Kane. He's in the mix. And I'm looking at the card overall before we actually go into the matches, and I'm thinking there's a few matches in there that kind of make me think, like R-Truth and King Barrett. I mean, that's amazing. That's what's something that we would want to see.
Yeah, how can you diss that? Poor R-Truth. He thought he was in the Money in the Bank ladder match as well.
Poor Barrett.
Poor Barrett. Poor both of them.
So, you know, that. If they're going to put Kane in there, surely they can just get these two guys in there as well. So,
but everyone else is in. We've got like 7 people, which is an odd number in my opinion. And then we've got 2 extra with New Day, so that's 9 people at ringside.
So, you know, I don't know, getting the short end of the stick by the looks of it is R-Truth and King Barrett. And that's probably the perfect way to start off our preview and predictions. So, R-Truth, Barrett, I think you kind of catch the gist that we're kind of surprised this has come together to be on the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, but it is. Barrett's got to win this, ain't he?
I would say so. I think ever since he won King of the Ring, he's not really done anything. Like, he's probably lost more since then. And when you think of the fact that Barrett beat Neville, and Neville's in the Money in the Bank match, Barrett's the king, but he's in the pre-show. So,
yeah,
I don't know what's going on with him. They always seem to do this. They'll put him out there, and then they'll pull him back. So I would say, give him the win here, and then if you've got some plans for him, which surely you must have if you won King of the Ring, then it sets you up to then go forward with him.
I've got an issue with the way that they've done the King of the Ring with Barrett, because I thought it was good at first. But what I think would have been better is that if he is the king, then why is he being put in so many awkward situations and so many predicaments where he's almost destined to lose? He's the king. So why can't he come out and say, I'm afraid I've got some bad news to start with, and say he's not going to wrestle tonight because he's the king, and then have him sit on his little throne on the ramp entranceway for Raw for the whole evening, and he can, do what he likes, or join the commentary team and do. The king, to me, should have that sort of free role to realm around and go around the whole of Raw and SmackDown and do what he wants in a way that it makes him even more of a heel. And that's what I would have rather seen than him just be stuck into these matches. And he's not doing well. He's not coming off any better than what he was before. So I think they could have been more smarter and more clever with the whole King gimmick.
Yeah, well, it's the same though. Like the majority of the times, like whenever you see someone that's won King of the Ring in recent years, then they always get that awful gimmick. So like, it's nothing really like special. It's just like coming out with that attire, and it's just an attire change. It doesn't really give you anything else. You should have like free reign over the WWE universe, like you've said. I don't know if I want to see Barrett sitting on a throne. Like maybe that's a bit much, but you should like definitely have something else. There should be something that comes with a King of the Ring, like a title shot or something like that.
Well, I just think that they need to emphasize more that he is the king, and I don't see how they do that at the moment. It's like he's King Barrett, but he's like jobbing to people, and it's like if they gave him that aura and that feeling about him. So like, being annoying is what I kind of think of when it comes to the king. And I think of like when Jerry Lawler was Jerry Lawler as a king, as a wrestler, was really quite irritating. And it's like, that's what I want like Barrett to be like. Oh, I'm going to come out here and just be really irritating and annoy you guys. And then it gets you over in a heel perspective without damaging you and having you lose every week.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like the King, in terms of Jerry Lawler, never won the WWE title, and the way it's going, it's going to be the same for King Barrett.
So it hasn't really done a lot for him, and he probably would have been better sticking with the bad news gimmick. But even that, they've kind of tailed away from a little bit. So, my prediction in this one is a hopeful that King Barrett wins, but I wouldn't be surprised if they let R-Truth go over.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I think for me, it's got to be a win for Barrett.
So we're going both with Barrett on the first match.
Yep.
Cool. It always starts well, and then we kind of taper off a little bit. So the next match on the card, I don't know if this is in the exact order, but I've kind of put it in the order that I would expect it to, or possibly be. And this match, again, well, I don't know about this one. This one's Ryback, the Intercontinental Champion, versus Big Show. And I don't want to be a hater on this, but I'm not keen on Ryback's championship reign at the moment. I don't think he talks a very good talk, and I don't understand all the huge support for him, because I have seen quite a lot of it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I said exactly the same thing yesterday. It's just, I don't get the whole fuss around Ryback. It's maybe it was when he come up and everything kind of went against him with the crowd chants and the fact he was wearing RVD's singlet. It's like, I never really got over that. And even though he has improved and he's got better on the mic, he's still injuring people. But I don't know, he hasn't got over that for me. And I kind of take him as a credible champion. I would have preferred to see someone that we're going to actually get proper wrestling matches, like what we're hoping we're going to get when Daniel Bryan was Intercontinental Champion.
Sheamus.
Well, I would even take like Sheamus at this point. But when you think, I wanted these amazing wrestling matches for the title, about the title, and we got Ryback and Big Show.
Well, that's the demoralising bit, isn't it? It's like, Ryback, yeah, okay, you can kind of maybe tolerate the fact that Ryback's come in and he's, they're trying to push Ryback, so you think to yourself, okay, yeah, fine, you want to push Ryback, but then they pair him against the Big Show, and I think that the whole selling point of this is the fact that he can shell shot the Big Show. And I think that's really what they're going off. But haven't we seen this before? Because if we cast our minds back, wasn't this like Ryback Mark Henry?
Possibly, yeah. See, that should have been like the big moment though, but they've wasted that on Raw. That should have been like the pay-per-view like ending.
And Big Show's like gone back to that whole thing where we talked about like, someone that's free to roam around, and he's become that again. He's like, I'm a giant and I can do whatever I like, and I'm going to come here and do what I want, and you might try and eat me, but I'm a giant, so I can eat you more. And it just goes on and on and on. It's like, how many more times got to hear this from the Big Show?
I don't think we'll ever stop hearing it from the Big Show. It's just, it's the same thing over and over again. But what I will say is, I said this about Big Show and Reigns, and I think Big Show ended up putting on like a really good match with Reigns. So maybe it'll be the same thing, but I don't think it'll be anywhere near as good as that.
I think the big difference though is Reigns can move, and I don't know if Ryback really can. I'm interested from the We Talkers point of view. Any Ryback fans out there, let us know why you're so high on Ryback. because I mean, the crowd reaction is quite high on Ryback. The whole "feed me more" and stuff. It does echo throughout the arena. They do really get behind the guy, but I'm just not buying it at the moment. It's not my cup of tea. I don't.
If you were in attendance at a live show, would you get involved with a chance?
Don't think so.
Not just to be a part of it, because I think maybe that's part of it. Like if you're at the show, you want to get involved with stuff. So maybe like it comes across that way, but it mightn't be as much.
I don't chant for JBL when he comes out, and all the crowd chant for him as well at live shows.
I don't know if they'll really chant that much though, do they? He hasn't got like a proper chant.
No, they freaking do. They do. When he comes out to start commentary, the crowd were chanting JBL just as loud as they chant anything else. And I was like, don't you guys get it? He ruins the commentary team every week. Why would you chant for him?
So when we go to Raw in November, what are you going to do when Ryback's saying everyone's chanting "Feed me more"? You're just going to sit there with your arms crossed and like, nope.
Yeah. That's what
I'll probably be with you. Like there'll be a row where like me, you, Wes, and Weeds just sitting there. Just we're not having this. We want change.
I'll go on the beer run.
Yeah. That's the toilet break, isn't
it? So, I mean, I get it. It's an interesting chant. And like you say, it's probably the fans just, want to be involved in the interaction. But I'm not seeing why it was such a big deal to let Ryback become the IC champ. Because I wanted Sheamus to win that title. I thought Sheamus would do a good job with the belt. So, the match overall, like you say, we could be surprised that Big Show does it again and puts on a good performance with Reigns. I think it's more difficult with Ryback. I think there'll be some awkward moments, but Ryback's retaining. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, totally. I think the bigger prediction is: do you think there'll be an injury in the match?
Oh, that's a bit harsh.
Well, it happens, doesn't it? A big guy like that taking a big fall.
The big guy. His promo skills are horrendous. I'm sorry, I have to say. I mean, he said something this week on SmackDown. I'm not sure if you saw it, but his promo was saying about you don't want to worry about me eating you or something. It was like you got to listen to the crowd, and he called the crowd something, but I don't know what it was. Something weird. I was like, oh, this is what you're going to call the Ryback fans now. Then I don't know what it was.
It's just a really weird promos that he cuts. I think that's one of the reasons why I kind of get behind him.
People like the inspirational stories though that he came out and did. That's what I've seen.
There is that, but I don't know. Ryback's come back from so many of these injuries, and he's just like dishing them out.
I just wish he'd stayed as what he was originally when he was
Skip Sheffield?
No, when he was the original Bulldozer and he was just going through the competition. And if they'd done that right, then you kind of like Ryback, but they didn't, did they? They fucked him up, so it just didn't go. And then you can't take guys seriously. This is when that WWE give a superstar a chance. When you have that ongoing thing where they make mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake, and then you run out of patience that you can't support that guy anymore.
Maybe this is like the final shot though, like giving him the title to see if it works, and if it doesn't stick, then maybe that's it for Ryback.
We'll see. I don't want to see him obviously just go away. I just think they need to revamp him a little bit more. Can't just be about feeding him competition, because sometimes he's getting fed the competition and he loses.
Yeah, needs some it.
So yeah, I'm going for Ryback to retain, and I think. I'll be honest with the We Talkers and yourself. I think this is probably the match I'm going to be most negative about in the whole of this review. Yeah,
let's just get this one out of the way, and I think you can tell from the tone of my voice as well. Let's move on to bigger and brighter things.
You know what's coming next, don't you? So you're going Ryback as well, yeah?
Yeah, Ryback.
So we're going on to bigger and better things. So we're talking Nikki Bella versus Paige for the Divas Championship.
Yep.
Bigger and better.
Bigger and better.
Predictable match, because obviously they've been building to it for quite some time. Is it predictable in the outcome? Is Nikki going to retain? Because we've talked about this for weeks now, where we've said that she's getting closer. I don't know how close she is now to knocking AJ off her perch, but it's getting close to her being the longest reigning Divas champion of all time. And
I thought it was around 60 days now, but like only 2 weeks has passed, so it's still, when I checked Wikipedia, it's something like 89, 90 days.
Right.
So it's still like 3 months to go.
So she could lose.
She could lose. I don't know if it'll happen though.
The only criticism of this match is we've seen these sort of matches quite a lot before with these two stars that are divas ducking in and out. I really want to see something else from the divas. I want to see something new, something fresh, something exciting. And Naomi was that option, and now she's gone.
Well, that's the thing. She's gone completely. She's literally gone. Like, you would have thought maybe they would have kept that going a bit and had the three of them, but we're just back to Nikki and Paige. So it's the same thing that we're seeing again. It's nothing new. It's nothing fresh. I think a title change would make a difference in terms of freshening things up. But even if you do that and you give it to Paige, then it's still something that we've seen. Like, I think we still need someone else to come through. And whether that's Naomi, whether that's someone from NXT, just something different instead of the same thing over and over again.
The storyline's quite cool, though, with the whole thing with Paige saying that she's a wrestler and, you know, her accomplishments in the wrestling ring are quite a big deal compared to Nikki, who's, you know, is a diva and, you know, she's like modelling and all that sort of stuff. And I quite like that. And then obviously Nikki fires back with, well, she's a 2-time champ and so is Paige, so what the hell are you talking about? I really like that story. But as I think the trouble is we've seen this too many times with the same divas over and over again. We do need someone to step up. I think we're just calling out, if Naomi's not going to be around, we're calling out for an NXT diva or an NXT women's wrestler to now step up.
Well, I think so. Like, the problem with that is what you've just said there about Paige being a wrestler and how accomplishments mean so much, whereas Nikki is a model and everything else. Why is she on course to become the longest reigning Divas champion if that's not her forte?
John Cena?
Well, that's the only explanation, isn't it? It's the only one that makes sense.
It's not good in terms of if you're wanting to focus on the wrestling side of the women. And I think it's about time we brought back Eva Marie to Brian Kendrick. Everybody, we need something fresh. I don't really care what it is. You know, like, I know I'm just taking a little bit of a dig with the Eva Marie stuff, but if she's trained well and she's worked hard, I wouldn't even mind just seeing someone like her just come back and see if she can do anything to make this slightly more interesting. Anything is what I want to see.
Well, I know you're not just taking a dig because I know you're a huge Eva fan.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
But I don't know. On a side note, what did you make of that NXT appearance?
Has she wrestled now on NXT?
Well, I'll send you a link after this, and you can put it in the description because she made an appearance on NXT. I think it was last week,
right?
Where she come out and cut a promo.
Oh no!
And she got a reaction. I'll leave it at that, and then you can check the video.
Did it not go well?
Well, it's Eva. How could it not go well?
Oh no! I have to look this up afterwards. Hope she's not let the team down.
Team Kendrick or Team Delzinski. She's letting everyone down.
Team Delzinski, you know, come on. Yeah, and Team
Kendrick. Now you kind of drop her.
I know. So anyway, maybe she's not the option, but you know, all I'm saying is that there are more divas out there. Where's Brie gone? I'm missing Brie Chance.
She was. I don't know if she was banned from ringside at the last pay-per-view.
She wasn't at ringside for Raw either.
Was she?
No.
Wasn't? Well, that's probably because of Twin Magic. I don't want that happening again.
I'm missing the chant. I'm missing the Brie War chant. It's not there anymore.
Well, yours is pretty good. I think you can replace her.
I could.
Just record yourself and put it on a loop.
Anything to get near the divas would be perfectly fine for me. You can slot me in there every week if you like. You know, I'll be there to cover. But I mean, going back to the match itself, I think it'll be quite a good match, and I still think Nikki's quite good in the ring. I'm not. She's got some good moves, and she's definitely learned a lot over a title reign. But it needs something. It needs some spark. I don't know what that is. Maybe we're going to get some interference from somebody. That, to me, would be good if we brought someone fresh in to interfere. What the hell happened to Tamina?
But that's what I was saying with like Naomi going away as well. Tamina's done the same. Like she was banned from ringside as well last time out. So why was she even like the manager in the first place if you're not going to have her at ringside? So it makes sense to have someone come in. But when you see what they've just done with Naomi, they've built her up, and then she's took the pinfall last time, got beat, and gone away. So what's the point in bringing someone else in if you're just going to do the same thing?
Yeah, I think that what the issue is, and the final underlining issue, is that they only have one Divas match all the time. We rarely have two Divas matches on Raw. You know, how do you make it any better if you've got all this like pool of talent that you've supposedly got? You need to have a couple of Divas matches, so you have one that's not title related and one that is.
Well, that is the way to go about it, and.
Or a Divas pay-per-view.
Well, a Divas pay-per-view would work, but how often would you have it? Would it be like a yearly thing? A monthly thing?
It depends who you've got on it. If it was NXT, I think everyone would watch it. But if it's what we've got on the current roster, I don't think many would go for it at the moment just because there's no credible storylines. Whereas if you look at NXT, if you just slot Bayley in against someone, Bayley's feuding with Emma, you've got Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Charlotte goes into those feuds easy. There's a lot going on down there. It's like you could make that, whereas the main roster, I can't tell you another feud that's going on apart from Nikki and Paige.
Well, that's the thing. If you kind of fit more than one Divas match in a Raw, then you're booking it wrong. Fire Kane, you'll have like an extra hour.
I would say, right, considering that everyone talks about give Divas a chance, we definitely do give Divas a chance on We Talk because we cover them quite a lot in detail every time we talk about them.
Well, we do, and I think that's because we want to see change, but unfortunately, we're not the ones booking it.
No, we're not. Somehow we've got to kind of sneak in there and get on the writing team, but, you know.
Yeah, just change the board and just like leave it like that and see what they do.
Come on, Vince. Shout out. Come over here. Talk to us. Love to have Vince on We Talk. That'd be amazing.
Do you think you could get him?
I could try. Kidnap him or something.
I think that's the only way you'll get him. Oh, you've already started branching out with some superstars.
I have, yeah. If you haven't seen it, nice lead into the
nice
segue,
there. Wasn't it?
Yeah. If you haven't seen it already, make sure you do go check out my We Talk special with Joe Hendry. It was very cool to do a We Talk with a professional wrestler, ICW's Joe Hendry. We talked about a lot of stuff, particularly the ICW game that's coming out, so that's exciting for all you gamers out there. And we talked about the industry as well, so yeah, go check it out. I'll link it in the description box below. Nice one.
I'm looking forward to the game. That'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
It does. It sounds awesome. It sounds exciting. It sounds like a throwback with like the No Mercy graphics and stuff like that. So I can't wait. I'm not sure what consoles it's out on, but as soon as I get some more news, I'll be letting everybody know.
Hopefully it'll be like out on the majority of the consoles. I'm really looking forward to it just to see what it brings to it. It's always good to get something different, and regardless of how it plays and things like that, I think just having something different in there, a different option, just freshen things up and gives you something in the wait for the new release.
Well, that's it. That's what we all want. I think we just the more wrestling games that are out there, the more versatility that we get, and we can, it'd be cool because it's not always about graphics. It's sometimes about gameplay, and I think No Mercy had that feel that everybody loved the whole gameplay of that game, and I even like the graphics because I like that style. So something like that versus like a 2K16 and stuff, and then you've got other smaller games out there. You've even got the apps. It's good. It gives us a nice variety of games to play.
It is. It's something different. It's just nice variety. And like the style as well, depending on what they do. Like I was playing All Stars the other day, and I think that looks an absolutely phenomenal game in terms of the graphics. And it plays really good as well. So even something like that where it's completely different, it doesn't matter as long as the gameplay is good. So I'm looking forward to it.
I was a huge fan of like WrestleFest. And like for me, that it looked awesome and it was really good fun. It was just button bashing, but it was just quality. And if I recall, 2K, not 2K, THQ, I think, released a version of that on the app, and I've lost that. I don't know where it's gone. I think they removed it.
I can't remember who released it.
Someone
I don't know
did.
if it was 2K or THQ. It was like 2 years ago or so. So yeah, they did release one.
But the original, I mean, if I could get my hands on one of those arcade consoles, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a wee talk for another time, I think. If you guys wanted to hear us talk about, like, you know, some of the games and obviously some of our favourite wrestling games, then yeah, I think we may have to do a wee talk on it. So, I mean, if you do, make sure you let us know via the comment section below, because I think that'd be quite fun.
It should be good.
And we'd interact with you guys. I think what would be cool as well is to get your views. So if you send me in some tweets and stuff and let me know at Delzinski, and then you can feature on the show as well.
Sounds good.
Anyway, back to business, because I don't think we got your prediction for the Divas match. Who are you going for?
I'm going to have to go with Nikki. We kind of did a Michael Cole there and just started talking about something else during the Divas. So that was pretty bad.
Oh.
Especially after saying we'll give Divas a chance as well.
Gave him too much. The chance was blown.
Yeah, I'm going with Nikki for this. I can't say anything else. Like,
yeah, I'm
so close to the title reign. They're going to like make it as close to that as possible, just to keep people watching, just to see if she does overpass it.
Yeah, I'm going to go Nikki, and I'm going to throw a quick scenario out there. As it gets to the final week or day that she's going to get that, that's when Charlotte Flair comes up and beats her.
I'm going to throw you another scenario, which Al put to me.
Go on then.
And that is, it makes more sense, and I actually really like this. And that is, it gets to the final day. I don't know what day it falls on, but just defend the title, and Brie costs her the title.
That would be good.
That would be a really good one. It gets you like this whole like scenario between Brie and Nikki that's been going on for so long and just didn't get any resolution. It would then bring that resolution to it, and it really screw over in a great way.
Props to Elle. That's a good scenario.
I really like that. I would love to see that happen. So I kind of hope Nikki does keep it, and then we'll go down that route.
I'd definitely like to see that, because I mean, you and me have both said, like, on numerous occasions that they need to get closure on that storyline. So do it, just do it.
Totally.
Don't know if anyone's seen Sheila Buff, but you know,
who hasn't seen it? It's everywhere.
Do it.
He's in Star Wars. He's in absolutely everything with that.
Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
It's wicked. I'll link that in the description. Oh man, every week I just build these like non-stop of links that I have to put in these videos, but I think it's worth it because this one's awesome.
It is. There's really good ones. They've been like making so many, but they're so good to watch.
You seen the one when he's out by the window? You'll see that one as well.
No, possibly not.
He's just being annoying by the window. Someone keeps closing the door on him. Anyway, yeah, we'll link them in the description box. So back to business. Next matchup on the card: New Day, because they rock, versus the Prime Time Players for the Tag Team Championships. I got a feeling we could see a title change.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know. I'm in two minds over this. Because I really like the Primetime Players. They're like one of the most entertaining teams in the division. And when we're seeing them at Elimination Chamber, I think they really showed what they can do in the ring. Like, Titus was an absolute beast. But I still kind of like the New Day. So I don't know if I want them to lose the titles.
I think if they switch the titles now, early, then it doesn't hurt the New Day. Because if you do that, and then they can get them back, and it's a bit of back and forth between the two, creating a real good rivalry. And, you know, I don't know, obviously, if New Day are featuring earlier in the night, is this going to be Xavier and Big E? It's going to be, isn't it?
It should be. I can't see Kofi wrestling two matches.
So if that's the case, then Kofi might not be at ringside, and they can blame that on the, on the loss, because obviously, they cheat their way through their matches. So, it could be a good reason for them to do that, and then maybe drop the titles back, the following week with another screw job. Really, then add some fuel to the fire between this feud between the two teams.
I think that'll be good. I think it's always good to get some quick changes with the titles. Not everyone needs to have a long title reign, so I'd be all for that.
Yeah, that to me would be the best scenario, is between the two that it's back and forth, and you get the Primetime Players properly established, because they're still working their way back, and then you get the titles on them, and then they get screwed around, and then people are backing the Primetime Players over the New Day a lot more, and I just think it works, and plus with Cesaro, and I don't know what's going on with Kid at the moment. WWE being real cagey. I mean, is this like a permanent injury, which is going to keep him out for good?
I can't remember what it was. Was it a spinal injury or something?
Yeah, I mean, took a bump from Joe, and there's no blame to Joe. I think they said it was a freak accident, but I don't know. there isn't really a lot of information about this at the moment. They're kind of keeping it under wraps. So when they do that, it makes you think the worst.
Well, that's the thing. When you hear spinal injury, you think that this could be really bad. And then I think they followed up the injury with Natalia. It was probably before it was actually announced, but she put like a photo on probably Instagram, what she tweeted out. And the description through that just says something like they were going through hard times and stuff. So it makes you wonder how bad it is. Hopefully it's not too bad and it's something that he comes back from, because he's been amazing in the ring. I think him and Cesaro, they're just such a great tag team. It'll be a shame if he can't come back from this. And, I just wish him all the best.
Well, I think same from me as well. We definitely do want to see him make a speedy recovery, because it's going to be for Cesaro interesting, because I think we'll soon find that out. If Cesaro starts doing any sort of singles related stuff, then we get our answer. But for Cesaro, it won't be great, because he's done so well, with Kid. So yeah,
it's a tough one. Like, they always seem to struggle with Cesaro, so I think putting him with Kid, it worked wonders for him. So how they now treat him, what they do with him, is going to be interesting to watch.
He's the sort of guy I want to see win the Money in the Bank, to be honest. If I was going to use Cesaro in any sort of means, he'd be perfect for that sort of cash-in. But
he is. Like, he would have been a good addition to it. Like, even if they, like, announced him as, like, a
eighth
entrant
man.
now. Yeah, an eighth man. But I think maybe, like, if this had happened a bit sooner, that would have probably been the case. He'd have been put in that match. But they already maybe had the plans in place when the injury happened, and that's why he's not on the card.
Yeah, so it's difficult for those two. So, I mean, obviously it looks like that they're focusing more on New Day and the primetime players. And I think both tag teams are strong. I'm going for the title change. I think we will see new tag team champs.
I'm going to stick with the New Day.
Cool.
Same day.
So we're definitely split on this one. So yeah, interesting. Moving on to the big one, because it's still the big one, still the big match in my point of view, is that John Cena not versus Daniel Bryan. See what I'm saying there?
Yeah, you got it right this time.
I know, yeah, it's about time. I think I was thinking about main event too much, the universe mode. That's what did it.
Ah, that explains it.
So, John Cena versus Kevin Owens 2, and I just put it out there. Kevin Owens going over 2-0.
That's what I'm hoping for. I would love to see that. I think that's the best way they could do it, especially if he wins clean again. Like, that was the biggest shock last time out. So if he wins clean and then goes 2-0 up and Cena cannot beat him, I think that's a great way to progress it. I don't want to see the typical Owens has already won one, so now Cena's got to get that win in there, and it comes down to a third match. I think it's much better if they give Owens a 2-0 win and then see where it progresses from there.
Well, if you give Owens that 2-0, then it gives Cena the opportunity to step away, and then Owens can keep progressing more and more, and then Cena can come back. And I know it will sound like it's the same old, but he could come back and then beat him. But from my point of view, I just really don't want to see, like you said, the 1-1. We've got into a third match. See this too many times, where stars are having to give back to the bigger superstar. We see that we've seen Cena do that a lot of times in his matches. I mean, Rock, Cena. I don't want to see that again. I don't want to see you have to give back to go forward. No. I don't want to see a third one of this. I want to see two awesome matches and see Kevin Owens win them both.
Well, I totally agree with that. I mean, when Cena come through, like, his debut beating Angle was like a big thing. I can't remember if like Angle actually then went like 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, and like got the victories back. But I think the best way to do this is just give Owens a 2-0 win, then make a big deal of Owens saying that Cena kind of beat him, and Cena wanting another rematch, but he says, "No, I'm not going to give you the rematch. I'm 2-0. Why would I give you a third match?" And then they can postpone that. Let Owens go to NXT, wrestle Joe, put the focus on that for a month, skip Battleground, and then bring him back for SummerSlam, where they'll have a big match at that point.
Well, that sounds perfect, and I think if you do that, then the whole rejection process of Owens saying to Cena no is just brilliant, because Cena becomes almost like a desperate man, wanting that rematch, desperate for that rematch, and it's a complete, like, flipping it on its head that, he was the champ, and Kevin Owens is the underdog, the up and comer, and it's completely reversed the tables. It's then Cena becomes the one that wants to impress, and he shouldn't have to because of where he is in the company. It's an awesome story, and it'd be great then if they back off a little bit from it and then they re-pick it up again later on, possibly once Kevin Owens is even more cemented on the main roster.
Well, that's the thing. I think it'll work like really well that way. You could have Cena on Raw like continuously saying that he wants the rematch, and Owens just saying that he's not going to give him it, to the point where I don't know if we get an NXT special at some point, but if there's a match between, say, Owens and Joe, like the combination of their feud, Cena could like still not be given that rematch at that point, so he turns up at NXT, and just that causes a distraction that then leads Joe to actually win the title, and it gives a way of getting the title off Owens, but it also furthers what's going on with Cena and then brings him fully up to the main roster.
And where do you see the United States Championship sitting in here? Because there's been a lot around the NXT title, a lot of talk around that, but not an awful lot about the United States Championship. Should this not be on the line?
It's awkward because with them both being champions, like the focus is still there. They're both saying that the champ is here. So I get where you're coming from. The focus should really be on the title, and that's what they had been trying to do. But at the minute, this just kind of overshadows it.
Well, I just think because of the whole thing where Owens has been stamping on the belt and saying this belt's worthless, it'd be good for him to take that belt and then maybe be a bit disrespectful for it. It's not. To me, I know we're trying to build the belts, but doing that as a heel is a great move. And then having Cena, get really, he can't do nothing about it because he's being rejected to have rematches, and he's just got to watch Kevin Owens be disrespectful to the United States Championship. Huge focus on the belt then. Maybe not to make it, maybe not because of the right reasons, but from a storyline perspective, it's awesome.
Yeah, well, if he done that, things like played out the way I said, then Owens could always come out and say, you cost me my title, I'm going to take yours. And then if Owens was to win the title from Cena, then it'd be really good, like storyline-wise, how he could sort of just try to devalue the title, and then Cena can make a big deal about how that is the United States Championship, and it's like so prestiged. So you've got like Owens coming out, I don't know, win it backwards or something like that. And it just makes it more about the title then at the same time, but the focus is still on these two as well.
If, let's just say, final scenario is that, let's say John Cena does win this 1-1, where does it go from there?
Right, it obviously goes to the third match.
And
but
is that something you want to see?
It is, but I think it's all happening too soon, because these pay-per-views have been 2 weeks away. It's like it was only 2 weeks ago when they got that match. So if the next one was straight away at the next pay-per-view, then that's like 3 matches in something like 6 weeks. So I think it's just a totally rushed scenario at that point, where they can kind of string this on a little bit longer.
I kind of think if they give it 1-1, they have ruined the hard work that they did in the first match, in my point of view, because it would... the reason why it was so amazing, yeah, the match was amazing, but the reason why it was so good was the shock factor. And if they've got to keep that up to make this feel more special. If they give it 1-1, people will just be like, oh, it's just returning the favour. And I don't think people should have to see that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It just totally devalues it. The big thing about that first match was just the shock of Owens winning and winning clean. So if now the same thing happens but in reverse, then it takes away that feeling of like how good a moment it was, because it's been sort of overcome at that point.
Could he take him out? Powerbomb on the ring apron?
He could do. Like I would love to see it be a clean finish, but at the same time, I think maybe we could get some kind of DQ or something like that. So maybe Cena will win, he'll get that victory, but then Owens could say, you did win the match, but I won the fight.
That's the point, and they have got good emphasis on the word fight, haven't they? So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, but I hope the WWE keep that shock factor going and they go Owens 2-0. So my prediction right here, right now, is Kevin Owens is going over again.
Yep, Kevin Owens all the way.
Cool. Next up, next match, the Money in the Bank ladder match, a match that we all look forward to, and it's Dolph Ziggler, Neville, Roman Reigns, Orton, who's been kind of quiet, Kofi Kingston, Sheamus, and Kane. But so I'm going to say that one thing that stands out to me is that possibly everyone's going on about Kofi Kingston spots. Adrian Neville is going to be the spot stealer in this match, in my point of view.
Yeah, well, he stole it on SmackDown when he hit that huge splash off the ladder.
Yeah.
And then I was surprised to see he actually closed the show, like taking down the briefcase. So I don't know, my hometown boy here, he could be set for a win. I can't really see it though.
He's got that. It's like the Shelton Benjamin factor. So,
yeah.
He can do anything, and he can run up the ladders and do all that stuff. And it's probably the expectation that Kofi will do all this. But my focus would be Neville to do all of this stuff.
I think so. I think that's the reason that he's been pushed into this. So not only is he like completely over with the crowd, the things that he's pulled off, defying gravity the way he does, he just fits into a ladder match. So I'm sure there'll be like loads of moments where he's not just hitting sort of moves off ladders and things, but sort of leaping around, springboarding from outside onto a ladder. There's so many different things you could do. And I think while Kofi's going to have some crazy spot that he does, I think Neville's in there for his high-flying antics.
Well, the other thing to sort of point out as well is I know we've been bashing Kane a bit, but he's actually quite good in these sort of matches. He's that bigger guy, and I think he can do a bit more than other bigger guys that they could have put in, like Mark Henry. So I do think that he may have a good purpose in this match to interact with like a Neville or a Kingston to perform those high-flying moves.
Yeah, I think so. I think that we'll see things from Kane. We'll probably see what we used to, really, like choke slam off a ladder and things like that. But I think you do need them bigger guys. So we've got like Kane and Sheamus in there. Because if you have all the same sort of high-flying, younger, like fast guys, you can't really keep that pace up all the time. No. You need something different. So like that's what Kane brings to it. That's what Sheamus brings to it. And then you've got Sheamus with his brutal style as well. So it'll be interesting to see like how he uses the ladders. And with him and Orton, their sort of feud running into this, it's only been like 2 weeks long or so, but they've been quite brutal in the way that they've attacked each other. And then on top of that, you've got Kofi Kingston with the rest of New Day. I would put an interesting scenario where they keep saying it's the Freebird rule. So what if Big E or Woods actually climbs the ladder and takes down the case? Do you think we'll get a restart of the match at that point?
I think that'd be pretty cool if one of them did it. But then
if they took it down and they started celebrating as if they'd won, and then Triple H or someone must come out and say, no Freebird rule, restart the match. I think that'd be quite cool to see.
I think that would be fun. I think that would add a different dimension to it when people are like in that factor, that moment, like, oh, come off it, that screwy finish, So,
yeah, well, it's like the Ambrose thing. Like, in that situation, people were like disheartened that it wasn't the real outcome. But I think this way, it's the opposite factor where people are like, oh, yes, the match is continuing.
Particularly if they lose the tag belts, because it's like desperation, isn't it? They've got to get something because they've got all this momentum and then they've lost it all. So they'll need to make sure they win that briefcase.
Totally. I think that makes sense.
So I think that, and then, do you know what? Then it gives them even more heat because they can be coming out on the next night on Raw and saying, we got that briefcase down and then you screwed us over. So, I mean,
it's good progression for them, especially if they do drop the titles, because it gives them something else to then talk about and how they're being kept down.
So, I mean, it works perfectly, that scenario. I think if I'm looking at this, if I was going to pick someone who I want to win this, by the way, just to touch on this, I really, really, really don't like Dolph Ziggler-Lana storyline. I hate it. The only thing that I like about that storyline is the facial expressions of Rusev. Every week it's a treat. It's one of my favourite things to look at Rusev and think, what face are you going to pull this week? It's amazing. Just make sure you do this. You watch Rusev's face. It's phenomenal. But the actual storyline, no, don't like that.
Yeah, it's awful. Like Was it the interview on SmackDown?
She loves him. She loves him. She loves him so much.
So I can believe that. I can kind of believe that in the storyline sense.
Because you love Dolph Ziggler as well.
Well, no, not really. But it was just like it makes sense with the whole like Lana being Russian and like not supposed to be into like American culture and things, which is completely different when you go to WWE.com and you see like the Lana photos like advertised on like the main page, and it's like, well, hang on, like she's supposed to like not be in any of these like Americanized things. So that's a bit weird, but I like the way that they're going with it. Like I don't know if it'll work long term. I would much prefer that just to stay with Rusev because I think they worked really well together. But I don't know where it's going with like the injury. It was funny to see him like come in the interview and just like disrupt that, tell him that to submit to him.
Just everything about him's hilarious. Oh, he's just getting. It's like, you know, you built this guy up to be the monster as he was. He was like destroying people, and you built Lana up to crush people, and now she's become like the weakest woman in the world, and that's what annoys me about it. It's like, she should still be this strong person. And yeah, she's standing up to Rusev. Yeah, all right, but not really, because she's in love. And it's like, just no. Go back to what it was. Have her as the ravishing Russian that wants to crush people, like the one from like Rocky or whatever it was with Dolph Lundgren and all that stuff. Have that still going on. Whoever was sitting in creative and came up with that just ripped the Rocky films, but just keep that going. And like I said, I like Insane Rusev. It's quite funny, but I don't really like her whole like infatuation with Dolph Ziggler. I just think it's a bit far fetched, and it kind of buries the gimmick of a strong woman. So
it does. Like, it's a shame in that sense, but I don't know. I can see them getting involved in like the match at some point. Like Rusev come down with these crutches and just like trying to hit Ziggler on the ladder or something to try and cost him the match.
Don't you feel sorry for Rusev? I've begun to feel sorry for him in recent weeks. His poor little face.
Wait, when he kicked the chair in the interview and he hurt his foot as well.
Submit to me, Lana!
he's hilarious.
That's what it is.
Do you think Lana could be playing Ziggler though in the end of the day and just be like, I don't need no man?
If she was that Russian, yeah? It's worse than me.
That was Russian. That was like the best Russian accent you'll ever hear.
If she's playing him, it'd be quite cool. But I don't think she is. I think they're trying to mould her over to be an American, and I actually do think they're going to lead to a scenario where she just becomes American. I think she's going to shock Rusev that this was just an act, and that it's all along been an act, and that she only did it to be with Rusev. And that's what they're going to do. And then they're going to flip her and she won't have an accent anymore because they've got to get rid of that accent at some point.
I think that's the only way they can do it. Like, it's just so weird. Like, the interview where she's saying, like, we read books together. And it was just like, what book are you reading? Like, How to Be American. And is that how you're going to change it? It's not the Lana that we used to.
He's nice. He's nice to me. That's the bit I like. That's what makes me laugh about it. It's like, really? And then all of a sudden, here he comes. Miserable Rusev. Poor Rusev. It's like a lost puppy. That's what he's like.
Yes, you get that feeling, don't you?
Lana, submit to me. Anyway, back to the match itself. Obviously, I think just to kind of finish this one off, I want Sheamus to win because I'm just a massive Sheamus fan at the moment, so it doesn't really matter to me. And I think you're probably, if you had the option of who you wanted to win, would you go with Neville?
I don't think he's ready for it.
You don't think he's ready?
I don't think so. I think it'll be a burden if he's got the briefcase. So I think it's more likely to be Sheamus.
Is that who you'd want to win though? Or would it? Or because I'm going to ask you,
I would want Ziggler to win.
You'd want Ziggler to win. Right.
I'll tell you the reason for that. It's because we all know how good he is in the ring. He's over with the crowd. He's got a great look. But there's something missing. Like, he never makes it the main event. So there's something always that holds him back. And I think the briefcase, just like last time, might actually like just propel him in that spotlight and give him that opportunity. Because he puts on great matches. Like, there's no doubt about that. And he wrestled Rollins this week. And that was another great match. So I think it'll do wonders for him just to get him back in that spotlight. And if you've got Lana in his corner as well, like, I think that's like a good way to like put the two of them together and have them at some point with the World Heavyweight Championship.
Could do, or she could screw him over as well, and the lost puppy could then take control.
Could do. What about Roman Reigns?
Well, that's the obvious one. I mean, we're disregarding Orton. Can't see Orton doing it. Can't see Kingston doing it. Kane is an outsider in the fact that possibly to end the Rollins feud, they give him the briefcase. Wouldn't put it past them. But Reigns is the favourite, in my point of view, to win Money in the Bank. I just think it's too obvious to do that. I think he will. I think he's going to get that briefcase down. But I would much rather see like a Sheamus take it, because Sheamus is just so over as a heel, and he's like, for me, he's giving more than what Roman Reigns would give, because it would generate more of a reaction. If Reigns does it, it's people going to go back onto the hating Reigns campaign of, well, you've bloody teased this for ages now. Now it's back to where we were. Maybe something which good could come out of it would be if he did take down the briefcases later on. Lesnar ruins it all for him, and Rollins and co rocks up at some point. But yeah, I think Reigns has got his name on this briefcase. I just think it might be a bit obvious.
Yeah, it's the obvious one that you don't want to go for, isn't it? In terms of the predictions.
So if I have to pick who I want, I'll pick Sheamus. If I have to say who I expect, it's Reigns. And if I pick an outsider, it could be Kane.
I agree with all three of them.
So that kind of brings us into the main event, which is Seth Rollins, the World Heavyweight Champion, against Dean Ambrose, who currently holds the World Heavyweight Championship in his hands. And is he actually going to find the belt? I think he did, didn't he? I think he found it in the end and then brought it. Did he bring it to SmackDown?
I don't think he did. He didn't have it on SmackDown. But he had the replica on SmackDown.
It's still lost in New Orleans somewhere, is it?
It's still there. It's out there somewhere.
No, I haven't got it. But, I mean, this match, again, could fall that same fate as the Money in the Bank ladder match. It could be very obvious and Seth Rollins could win this. But there are a few scenarios that probably best to touch on is, could Brock Lesnar rock up? I heard that he is expected to probably be at Money in the Bank.
I think there's like a possibility that he could be there, and I think that'd be like a good way to go, because it's a ready-made like rematch that's in there, so you would expect them to go ahead with it.
He should come out really and F5 Dean Ambrose and cost Dean Ambrose the match, giving. Actually, let's think about this. No, let's not do that. Let's not. Could go the other way around. In fact, give Ambrose the win via DQ. And F5 Rollins.
Wait, you can't get DQ'd though in a ladder match?
Oh yeah, you can't, can you? Shit. So how would you have it? Would you just have him F5 them both and then walk out? Then someone's still got to get out there.
Well, that's the thing. I would say he comes out, F5's the both of them, and then J&J come in and carry Rollins up to get the ladder, the belt. I forgot what's up top.
Good idea. Good idea, because it kind of rekindles the whole, J&J just still love him and he's authority boy. That would make sense, that somebody forces him to get up that ladder, or Kane drags him up there by the scruff of his neck.
I wouldn't get Kane there. I'd just keep Kane as far away as possible.
Well, I can see a scenario of that building if Lesnar does hit the ring, because they've got to get Lesnar back soon to build. Whether or not he picks anything up with the Authority is another interesting story, because we haven't really heard a lot from them in the whole suspension angle, which got Lesnar fucked in the first place. But what would be nice, to be honest, is if Ambrose took the belt. But they teased it once. I don't think they'll tease it again.
Well, that is the case. It's just the timing with knowing Lesnar's come back. It kind of ruins it like all over again, because you could think maybe they've seen the reaction that Ambrose got and thought, well, hang on, this could like really freshen things up, and people seem to be really behind him, and we're really disappointed when they're like seeing the screwy finish. So maybe like we could just give Ambrose the title and then have Rollins win it back pretty quickly.
The only worry about all of this is is that we continue this stealing of the belt. So possibly Rollins does get the belt down, but Ambrose nicks it again.
But I think we've seen too much of it, though. Everyone's stealing the belt. Like it's happened just the other month for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, I'm not really that big a fan of it. I like Ambrose kind of hanging around the crowd and stuff, as we mentioned earlier, but I don't like him giving it back to him to take it off him. It doesn't really do very much for me. So I don't know. It's a difficult one. This I believe that Rollins will retain, but I don't think that would be an exciting ending to a pay-per-view, which is quite exciting. So,
well, that's the thing. I think Rollins is bound to retain, but if you do have Lesnar come out, then it gives people something to talk about at the end of the match, as opposed to what we expect to happen.
I think I'll throw a scenario which I think could be an exciting one, is if Ambrose gets the belt down, wins, Roman Reigns comes out, holds up the briefcase. Not to cash in, but just to say, you're next.
It'd be interesting, but...
And Rollins then becomes the crybaby over the next few months, wanting to get his rematch.
But then what happens with Lesnar?
At some point, you've got to bring him back. I don't think you have to bring him back at Money in the Bank. You can just bring him back soon, though. You can just come up and just try and destroy the Authority to start with, then focus on the title.
It's interesting. I think I would have preferred it if they didn't announce the Lesnar thing, because that's just in the back of my mind now. But it kind of takes away from it, because I'm thinking Rollins is going to keep it until that actually opportunity comes round. But we could have, if Reigns wins Money in the Bank and he's got the briefcase, Lesnar comes back, it could be Rollins against Lesnar, and then Reigns cashes in the same way that Rollins did.
Oh, no.
But I kind of see someone like cashing in pretty early. I think they'll keep it for a while, especially with it just being one briefcase now.
I think you're going to lead towards maybe that triple threat between the three of them. But like I said, like we both say, where does Lesnar sit in all of this? And to be honest, it's always exciting when Lesnar rocks up. So
it is. It'll be good whichever way they go with it. It'll be a great match.
My prediction is Rollins to retain.
Yep. Can't see anything else.
There you go. So that is our Money in the Bank preview and predictions, guys, for We Talk this week. And we want to get your views on it. Let us know via the comment section below what you want to see from Money in the Bank. Let us know your views on Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens. Is it getting lost in the John Cena Owens deal that's going on? And as well, CM Punk and Hulk Hogan. I mean, brother, what's going on there?
He's going to wreck him.
He's going to wreck him. And obviously, which brings us to the end of We Talk, is do you want to do any sort of cheap, shameless plugs this week?
Yeah, well, I start off a new Minecraft series on second channel. So if people want to check that out, I'm doing that with Elle and Tom Ghostplay. So that's something completely different, something fresh that we've been talking about. So if you want to give that a go, give that a go. Also released a Minecraft WWE trailer, which is something that you'll be seeing more of in the future. So I won't go into that just yet. And then if you want to submit predictions for Money in the Bank, you can do that at smacktalks.org/predictions. And there's also a new mod I'll be releasing tomorrow, a Beat the Clock challenge, all kinds of things. It's all going on this weekend.
Bloody hell, it's a lot of plugging you've just done there.
It is, there's a lot.
Yeah, make sure you go and check everything out. Yeah, definitely check out the Minecraft stuff on Smack Talk's second channel as well. I watched it the other day. It's pretty entertaining. So yeah, head over there. All links will be in the description. There's going to be a ton of links in that description for you guys to check out. That could take up your whole weekend. From my side, well, of course, we've got Saturday Night Main Event tonight. If you haven't seen it as well, Bray Wyatt is kind of floating here, there, and everywhere. When is he going to rock up? We just don't know. But, lots of good stuff going on with Main Event. And, of course, last night I released my WWE 2K16 roster concept. And I'm hoping you guys are enjoying it. It seems to have quite a good reaction. Is that the roster that you want to see in WWE 2K16? It's based on the Monday Night Wars. We've got a WWE section, got a WCW section, and then we've got NXT, Divas, Legends, current superstars. It's all in there. It's the total package, like Lex Luger. So yeah, make sure you check that out as well.
Is he in there?
He is. He's in the WCW section.
There you go.
See? He made the roster. So, I mean, yeah, make sure you go and check all that stuff out, all that goodness, and kind of brings us to a close. So, Paul, are you going to catch us later?
I shall catch you later.
Cool, and this is another We Talk coming to a close from Smack Talks and me, Delzinski. This is Delzinski signing out.
Hi wrestling fans and gamers, Velvet Sky here, and I just want to say I've been hearing a rumor that Delzinski.com is the best place for video gaming and wrestling content. Now if you're a wrestling fan and a hardcore gamer like myself, then I suggest you check out Delzinski.com. You will not be disappointed. Holler!